Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, September 5th. This is Gina McGuire. Over the next few days, we will have increases to fire potential across the Great Basin. Today, high hains and hot and dry weather will continue, especially over the northern half of the area. However, thunderstorms, we will continue to see isolated thunderstorms over the southern half of the Great Basin, but they will develop further north and west today along the Sierra Front into western Nevada, and it's these thunderstorms that will be a mix of wet and dry, especially in Nevada. As we move through Wednesday and Thursday, these thunderstorms increase and spread to the north and east, and eventually will affect all areas of the Great Basin. We will see more wetter storms over the southern area and a mix of wet and dry storms over the northern half of the Great Basin, which is where fuels are most critical, so we are expecting increases to fire potential over the northern half of the region. Over the last 24 hours, we have seen isolated thunderstorms generally over the southern half of the Great Basin, and light amounts of precipitation with the exception of some wetting rains down over the Arizona Strip into far southwest Utah. We also saw gusty outflow winds with these thunderstorms. Great Basin fire activity was light yesterday with a reported 14 new fires. Precipitation over the last week has been fairly sparse and only tied to thunderstorm activity. Many areas have seen very dry conditions. And also over the last 14 days, we've seen well below normal precipitation across the region in many areas over northern Utah, Idaho, and northern Nevada that have not seen any precipitation. How this has affected our fuel conditions: ERCs have increased region-wide, but are most significant over the northern half of the Great Basin, where ERCs are above the 80th percentile in most areas. As you move further north, ERCs are above the 90th to 97th percentile over the central Idaho mountains. Looking at some of our ERC graphs, you can see over the central Idaho mountains and over northern Utah, these ERCs are at record levels for the time of year. Even over northwest Nevada, which has continued to dry out, ERCs are above normal. If we look at 10-hour fuel moisture, obviously with the hot and dry conditions, 10-hour fuel moisture is very low across the region, with the exception of parts of the southern areas of Nevada and to the Arizona Strip that have seen recent thunderstorm activity. 100-hour fuel moisture is also at critical levels and very low, especially over the northern half of the Great Basin. The satellite loop from this morning still shows strong high pressure dominating the Great Basin with very hot temperatures and generally clear skies. We do have some moisture that is moving northward from southern Nevada up into the central and northern Sierra today, and this will allow thunderstorm activity to develop a little further north and west than what we saw yesterday. You can still see the remnant low off the California coast from the remnants of Tropical Storm Lydia, and this is what will be pushing all of that moisture up through the Great Basin over the next few days. Now, if we look at the conditions today, by this afternoon, you can still see very hot and dry weather over the northern half of the Great Basin, but you can see how that moisture now starts to move further north and west over parts of western Nevada into the central Sierra. So we are high-risking that area of the Sierra Front for thunderstorms today as lightning increases after very dry weather. Also with these thunderstorms, we will see very gusty outflow winds, which will affect our ongoing incidents over western Nevada, as well as the potential for new starts. Otherwise, high hains, hot and dry weather will continue over the northern half of the area. We did have a front drop south through parts of Idaho into Wyoming and brought an increase in humidity and also an increase in easterly winds this morning over parts of the Snake River Plain. These winds will likely be decreasing as we go through the day. Now, if we look at the weather conditions for today, you can see again where we're expecting those showers and thunderstorms to develop further north and west, and also continue over the southern half of the area, but be generally on the wetter side. Again, the hains for today will remain elevated across the region, with the exception of decreasing a little bit as that front moves through over Wyoming into eastern portions of Idaho. As we move into Wednesday, that area of low pressure off the coast starts to move a little bit further north and east, and this will push lightning into central and northwest Nevada and continue over southern areas. Therefore, our lightning will expand over northwest Nevada as we move through Wednesday, but also we may see some lightning even back further east over parts of Winnemucca District into Battle Mountains. We will be watching those areas as well, as especially northern Nevada is very dry. Looking at the conditions on Wednesday, you can see how those thunderstorms increase to the north and west. And I guess, again, these thunderstorms moving into very dry areas will be a mix of wet and dry and also be producing gusty outflow winds. You can see how the hains is changing, certainly decreasing over areas where thunderstorms are moving in and moisture increases, but still remaining in the 5 to 6 range over much of Idaho, northern Utah, and northeast Nevada. By Thursday, thunderstorms spread a little bit further north and east up into Idaho and northern Utah. So again, those high risks now move into the northern half of Nevada and into Idaho and northern Utah, where again, fuels are very critical for the time of year. You can see on Thursday where we're expecting those showers and thunderstorms. We may see a little bit drier conditions move into parts of the southern half of Nevada, so our lightning may be decreasing. But we will continue to see lightning over parts of the Sierra front, and even if lightning does not make it into western Nevada, we could potentially see very gusty outflow winds from this lightning. So again, that will be a concern on Thursday, even if the lightning remains into California. You can see the winds on Thursday, mainly the gusty outflow winds over Idaho and Utah, but also southerly winds start to increase a little bit more as that dry air moves in over parts of central Nevada into the Sierra. So we'll have to monitor that, as those wind speeds could be in the 25 to 35 mile per hour range with decreasing relative humidity. The overall forecast amount of precipitation for the next 3 days generally will be tied to thunderstorms, with the best chances for wetting rains over the Arizona Strip into southern Utah and over the High Sierra. If we move later in the week towards Friday, we can still see thunderstorms really affecting most of the area. They may even return to parts of Nevada as well. We are high risking, however, the areas that will see the initial return of lightning over eastern Idaho, northern Utah, and into western Wyoming. By Saturday, we'll continue that moisture over the southern and eastern half of the Great Basin, so we will see some of our areas moisten up with fuels, especially over southern Nevada and into Utah. As we move towards Sunday, thunderstorm activity will start to diminish and move eastward as dry air pushes into Idaho and western Nevada. And as we move into Monday, especially early next week, we will see a return of very dry air to the region. Overall forecast amount of precipitation for the 7 days, again, the better chances of wetting rains will be across Utah, the Arizona Strip, and mainly the southern half of the Great Basin. Our 8 to 14 day outlook, taking us into the third week of September, still shows warm temperatures for the west, but potentially above normal precipitation for the eastern half of the basin. That concludes our briefing for today. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. Thank you for listening.